In this section, I'm going to talk about the ability to have a 2D difference being computed. It is basically an operation where the XMDF file, which is a binary table-based, cell-based set of results, these two different XMDF files can be compared, and you can make a difference out of them. The ability to do that is under the configuration menu, where you will go to find the XP2D utility interface, and then you select one input file, another input file, and then compute an output file, and then execute, and it will create this difference file. You can assign this name. I basically made one run and then a second run. I'll explain it later, the difference that I made, but I did something to mitigate some flooding, and I wanted to see that difference. Then inside of XPSWM, at the 2D results, you can right-click. You can add an XMDF results file. This added file can be animated and displayed, etc. With that layer added, here you can see it creates the group of things that it's added. You can go in into its properties, you can restrict the display, you can change its transparency, etc. You'll notice that when I did a difference on depths of two different model runs, it found a difference of between -2 and +2, almost 2.5 was the difference. And so this map that's displayed right now is a water level difference, if you will, between two model runs. In some places it may be increasing the depth, and in other places it may be decreasing the depth. Here's just a zoomed in view of that 2D difference being displayed, but notice that it is its own category and group inside of the layer control panel. Let's do a little bit of demonstration on that. Let me go back to XPSWM, and I'm going to open up a model that I called basically the same model, but I called it upgrade. My upgrade was pretty simple. I upgraded this example file that we have by changing the number of barrels that represents the culvert, if you will, where the stream has been buried under the residential development and pops out here. So in this line all through running south to north, I've changed the number of barrels to 4 where it was 3. So it was 3, now 4, so obviously more conveyance, hopefully less flooding in this area. This model's results, essentially then I could see what the max water depth is. This is the max water depth. I'm choosing, I guess, to display it in just one single color. The reason will become apparent later. This is the time series of the max water depth. I'm just sort of stepping through a little bit of it so you can see I can animate that flooding. Well, since I've already made another model run, and I've made this one, one with 3 barrels, one with 4 barrels, and I want to investigate the difference. Under the Tools menu, under the XP2D utility interface, there's a specific tab here for creating 2D results differences. I'll pick my one result, which would be, say, this building's active. This would be the one file, and I want to compare it to this file, the upgrade file. And then I'm going to assign a difference to it. I've already done it, but this is essentially the steps where I'll pick the upgrade difference. I'll choose no on that. I don't want to make the change, whatever. And then execute. It takes about 1 minute, maybe just a bit less, maybe between 30 seconds and a minute, to compare those two results files. All the while it's creating a brand new XMDF file which has the differences at every time and every location. After you've made the conversion, then you right-click on the engine results, on the 2D results, and you add the XMDF results file. That file would be right here, the upgrade difference, and I open that, and it loads it. You can see here's the group of it, of all the difference, and you can see the various items which I can be looking at differences. So for example, if I click on the max water depth of the upgrade difference, that's this one. If I look at the water depth, well, let's just go to a certain point in time, and we could perhaps even just move the cursor. So I can see here, for example, the water depth difference is 0.73 at this location where I'm holding the cursor by looking on the status bar. So this is essentially an animation of that difference as it goes through time. But you could also show, let's say, in a color-coded way. So if I click on the max water depth, maybe I will just allow this to be a ramping of color. And then this max water depth here, this is the color-coded difference, if you will. So down here the difference is 0.02, over here the difference is 0.1, etc. Here in the play, the soccer play field or whatever, it's 0.01 max water difference between two runs. Perhaps some of you may have remembered that in 2014 Service Pack 1 version, we did have this tool called XP2D Interface Utility and a 2D results difference where we could create this difference file. However, that difference file wasn't able to be loaded into the interface and animated, etc. So the change, if you will, for 2016 is to make that difference file completely useful, or just as you would any other results file.